There's this notion, and this was something that was pushed a lot during last year's presidential election cycle regarding the Muslim American or Arab American community and their decision to support Donald Trump, right? There were, there were a lot of people who said that they had a difficult choice, right? And I push back on that. Matter of fact, I call bullshit on that. And I say it because the Muslim or Arab American community had the same choice that pretty much every other marginalized group in America had. And that is to choose between a white man who had already been president and who had shown himself to be incompetent to run this country, and a black woman who had been vice president but was also an accomplished politician prior to becoming the first black female vice president. Those were the choices for president. I also call bullshit on this notion that Vice President Harris should be blamed for the genocide in Gaza. And I'll say this until I don't have any more breath to say it. Anybody that attempts to put the genocide in Gaza on one person is full of shit, period. I don't care how you feel about it. You don't know history. You don't know geopolitics. And you are criminally unqualified to really have discussions on politics in America. That being said, I'm going to get that out the way. The next thing I want to say is this. The fact that right now, many of the groups who are persons of color, who decided that going with Donald Trump was going to be their political strategy, who are now saying they regret because of all the things that Donald Trump did, the empathy level that people like me have for you is at an all-time low. Why? The history of this country, the United States, you can go back to the founding. It is filled with my ancestors fighting not only for liberation for ourselves, but through our fights, building coalitions and fighting alongside others and pushing this country to become a place where immigrants from other parts of the world can come to and find a foothold. And for as many groups and persons of color who turn their back on us to align with white supremacy, yeah, that's never going to be forgotten. And it's the reason why black people no longer want to be considered persons of color. And yeah, every marginalized group always has a tough decision to make when it comes down to who we vote for president. And people need to understand that.